back to the special coverage as the Kingdom of Bahrain has hosted the 46th Gulf Cooperation Council Summit.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أصحاب الجلالة والسمو الحضور الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدنا في ختام الدورة 46 للمجلس الأعلى لمجلس التعاون أن نتقدم إليكم بخالص الشكر والامتنان على تلبية الدعوة ومشاركتكم القيمة في أعمالها ومناقشاتها. كما أسعدنا حضور دولة رئيسة الوزراء في الجمهورية الإيطالية الصديقة. كما يطيب لنا أن نعرب عن بالغ الاعتزاز باستضافة هذه الدورة في مملكة البحرين، مثمنين ما أسفرت عنه من نتائج طيبة نأمل أن تسهم في تطوير مسيرة العمل الخليجي المشترك وإثراء مجالات التعاون والتكامل تحقيقاً لأهدافها المباركة. كما نتوجه بخالص الشكر إلى معالي الأمين العام وفرق العمل في الأمانة العامة على ما بذلوه من جهود مقدرة أظهرت أفضل درجات الإعداد والتنظيم. وفي الختام نسأل الله العلي القدير أن يديم على دولنا نعمة الأمن والاستقرار ويبارك في مسيرتنا الخيرة نحو مزيد من النماء والرخاء، وأن يوفقنا إلى ما فيه خير دولنا وشعوبنا، إنه سميع مجيب الدعاء. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Welcome back to the special coverage as the Kingdom of Bahrain has hosted the 46th Gulf Cooperation Council Summit.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أصحاب الجلالة والسمو الحضور الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدنا في ختام الدورة 46 للمجلس الأعلى لمجلس التعاون أن نتقدم إليكم بخالص الشكر والامتنان على تلبية الدعوة ومشاركتكم القيمة في أعمالها ومناقشاتها. كما أسعدنا حضور دولة رئيسة الوزراء في الجمهورية الإيطالية الصديقة. كما يطيب لنا أن نعرب عن بالغ الاعتزاز باستضافة هذه الدورة في مملكة البحرين، مثمنين ما أسفرت عنه من نتائج طيبة نأمل أن تسهم في تطوير مسيرة العمل الخليجي المشترك وإثراء مجالات التعاون والتكامل تحقيقاً لأهدافها المباركة. كما نتوجه بخالص الشكر إلى معالي الأمين العام وفرق العمل في الأمانة العامة على ما بذلوه من جهود مقدرة أظهرت أفضل درجات الإعداد والتنظيم. وفي الختام نسأل الله العلي القدير أن يديم على دولنا نعمة الأمن والاستقرار ويبارك في مسيرتنا الخيرة نحو مزيد من النماء والرخاء، وأن يوفقنا إلى ما فيه خير دولنا وشعوبنا، إنه سميع مجيب الدعاء. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مشكورين إخوان، شرفتوا بلدكم وأنستونا الله طول.
We just witnessed the session of the 46th GCC Summit, which was held in the presence of the Italian Prime Minister as a guest of honor. Bahrain and Italy share a long-standing and dynamic relations enrooted in mutual respect and shared aspirations. Over the years, both nations have built strong ties as the leadership of both countries has constantly supported efforts to deepen cooperation and expand partnership. The following is a statement by Her Excellency, the Ambassador of the Italian Republic to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Mr. Andrea Catalano.
We are extremely proud and honored to be welcoming Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni for the second time in 1 year here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Upon invitation by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa to intervene in a joint session of the 46th Gulf Cooperation Council Summit. This is building upon a tremendous year in our bilateral relationship. We witnessed this January the first historic visit of a Prime Minister of Italy to the Kingdom of Bahrain, followed by an informal meeting between His Majesty and Prime Minister in Rome in July, and then most recently the extremely successful bilateral visit of His Royal Highness Crown Prince, Prime Minister Salman bin Ahmad Al Khalifa to Rome, in which occasion extremely important bilateral strategic investment partnership agreement was signed. Those are all blocks on which we're building an extremely strong relationship. So the invitation comes twofold. On one side, the Bahraini-Italian bilateral relationship, which I already mentioned, is fantastic, and we want to make it even more productive and grow it. And then the relationship of Italy with all countries of the GCC. So the participation in the summit is not granted, it's an honor, and which she takes extremely seriously, and we will see how it goes.
Welcome back. Different means of media and press in the Kingdom of Bahrain are joining their Gulf counterparts in covering this historic event since its establishment in 1997. Bahrain This Month, which is the very first monthly English language magazine in Bahrain, has been proving its readers and fans with various essential and entertaining coverages of different topics and events. We are pleased to be joined by the chairman of the Red House Marketing, Bahrain This Month and Women This Month magazine, Mr. George Middleton, who is an Anglo-Bahraini citizen and third-generation Middle East expatriate. He has been a resident in the Gulf region since November 1979, working in the media and marketing industry throughout several Gulf countries. Mr. George Middleton, welcome to this special occasion that we have here in the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Today is like a historic day for many Bahrainis and GCC citizens witnessing this big event, the summit that all the leaders of the GCC are conveyed here in Bahrain with the Italian Prime Minister as guest of honor. How do you feel about it?
I think it's a great thing for the region, for the understanding between the GCC and the European Union. Giorgia Meloni is one of the most prominent international leaders anywhere in the world, and it's a great privilege and pleasure to have her here as a guest of our glorious kingdom.
And from your point of view, what makes the time of hosting this summit vital and significant in terms of joint action?
I think we're at a time where security challenges, economic challenges, and digital transformation is changing the whole nature of how we are actually doing business and living in this part of the world. This is an opportunity for the Gulf Cooperation States to join even closer together than ever before, and to be able to work out a unified strategy which makes them stronger and able to put up with resilience against the challenges which are affecting all of us in this region.
Mr. George, you've been here more than I've been in Bahrain.
46 years.
I know that. And you've been through many GCC summits, and even before the first GCC summit. How was the Gulf countries before and after the establishment of the GCC?
I would say that prior to that, when I first arrived in November the 9th, 1979, to live here permanently, it was very much an individual, everyone out for themselves. I think as world conditions have deteriorated politically and security-wise, it became apparent that the closer we live together and cooperate and collaborate together, the more successful we're going to be. And that is the future, unified currency, unified security, and working together on the latest technological advances for the benefit of the people of this region.
For like locals, it gives us security, stability, and for expats living here, What do they see about this kind of summits that's happening between the GCC countries?
Right. I mean, I don't know any expatriate that doesn't feel more secure here than they possibly do in their own countries.
Mhm.
People talk about freedom, personal freedom. To me, personal freedom is the ability to go out at night after 9 o'clock in the evening and not fear to be robbed or attacked or beaten, which unfortunately is the status of affairs in a lot of European countries who are suffering on that. This part of the world is unique and special. There's security. People say it's strict. Well, it's strict for everybody's benefit. Nobody can bully anybody else, and that's what I find so appealing about living here. All expatriates, I think, feel the same.
And then let's go to your main field, which is media. What can you tell us about the media coverage, and how do you value the constant royal and government support provided to the press field here in the Kingdom of Bahrain?
Well, out of all countries in the GCC, and mostly in the Middle East, the level of press freedom which exists in Bahrain is absolutely unbelievable compared to what it used to be at the beginning. I remember when I started my first magazine, as the first monthly magazine in English in Bahrain in 1997, I had to submit my publication to the Ministry of Information 7 days prior to publication for their approval to make sure that nothing was written there that would be perceived as untoward. That's been scrapped now. The press laws are for the interest of journalists. Journalists, for instance, now cannot get arrested for what they say in print. It's similar to being in a parliament and having indemnity against any issues on that. The personal and professional freedom that journalists have is absolutely unbelievable compared to anywhere else in the world. You go to other, I'm not going to name any other countries, but you know who they are.
Yes,
and
of
and
course.
this is a unique privilege, being a
And
journalist.
with the
in this
new
part of the world.
press law that's been issued and ratified by and approved by His Majesty the King,
Absolutely.
do you see like media and press is getting more support from the government to like, I know like a lot of people criticize this part of the region about saying the freedom of press and stuff like that. You've been here, you've been doing this for the most of your life.
Well,
And with the
my
new-
response to that would be people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. There are publications in Europe and America which distort the truth phenomenally badly. This part of the world, I think, has greater truth to it. In fact, I will actually look at local channels here for news with more credibility than I would even some of the European stations. Again, I won't mention any, but I think everybody knows who I'm talking about.
I know. Since 1979, you have been contributing positively to the media sector in the Gulf region. What can you tell us about its constant development, and how do you view its future?
I think the only way is up. I think with the issues suffered by countries, particularly in the West at the moment, I think this country or this region is becoming a beacon of openness, prosperity and freedom. I see a trajectory of greater growth and stability for many decades to come within Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE, Oman and Qatar.
Yeah, and you just mentioned the other countries. Bahrain started the media revolution.
Bahrain has been the first in everything. It was the first airport, the first country to provide education, to allow women to be educated. First everywhere. And Bahrain is the greatest secret about Bahrain is the people here whose kindness and compassion is their culture. And everybody can feel that. That's actually what makes Bahrain special. That's what should be promoted, I think, internationally as the main advantage of doing business in Bahrain as opposed to anywhere else. There's consistency of approach and kindness inherent in the people's DNA. And I think I've been able to maybe soak up some of that in my 5 decades here.
And do you think that the rest of the Gulf countries will follow suit with Bahrain's like things that we've done, the experiments? You know, not all experiments are success, some failures and stuff, but are they taking Bahrain as a benchmark to what they want their like media to be in their countries?
I think Bahrain is a very good test market, not only for political and press issues, but for almost any project you're trying to promote or sell. Bahrain is small enough and capable enough to be used as a test market. And that goes for political and commercial elements, in my opinion.
How important is the English language media in connecting Bahrain and Gulf countries to the international community and expats readers?
I think the English language, due to colonial domination by the UK, and somebody would say now the United States of America, is the main lingua franca of the world. No other language goes anywhere near to it. I'm sorry to my French and Italian. I mean, my mother's Greek, my father's mother was half Italian, etc. So with respect to all these languages, there's no language like English. And because Bahrain's population are so capable, and with the education system here, which again is more advanced, I think, than anywhere else in the region, I think this is an advantage for everybody to see that this is the communication center of the region, and Bahrainis are fluent even in Hindi and Farsi as well, many of them as well, and it's a huge advantage in being able to communicate effectively with the world.
And I'm lucky enough to be part of the English media. Like, I used to work in Radio Bahrain, the English-speaking radio station. I worked in Bahrain TV, English news. I think that we are, like, and you as well with your magazine stuff, we can be the ambassadors of this country to other countries, because like you said, English is the main language for all the world, all the nations, China, America, Italy, France and stuff. How can we improve all of this? How can we promote the Bahraini media more from the English side of it?
I think really the digital transformation of media means it's very easy now to communicate and contact almost any group of people in the world through your media situation. Bahrain International Satellite Channel, the news options, etc., are prolific and are the future of being able to get into the minds and the hearts of people. When people come to Bahrain, they see the kindness of the people, the facilities here, the resources here, which are much more reasonably priced than any other comparative location in Bahrain. Bahrain is the future, and I think when people see that when it was a matter of cost management and concern about being able to project yourselves properly, Bahrain has got all the ticks in the right places in that regard.
Could you tell us more about the future of media? Like, before newspapers was the thing, magazines, so now with the age of digital, social media and stuff, how can we transform the traditional media into like something that's acceptable for all sectors of the community?
Well, I think many people criticize social media as having an evil side. You know, young children being influenced by what they see online and starving themselves and all that. But there's a lot of good aspects as well, if you talk about that, and that is the freedom of information that the internet gives, which was never available before. As we know, there are media conglomerates who have very much basically been in total control of media and information dissemination, basically brainwashing people. That's becoming less and less easy to do now that there's the freedom of people, even on TikTok or you know, Instagram or Facebook, putting out their own ideas. Yep. and getting an audience for it. And that's a very positive element, I think, and that's the future. I think digital transformation is here to stay. It's going to get even more sophisticated with the input of AI as well, making a difference to everyone's lives.
You've been in this business for a long time, doing magazines. You did, like, I know you personally in your work and stuff like that, and like I aspire to be like you in a way of like building my own career and building my legacy in like media. But with the new digitization of media, do you think it's hard for people to accept the new norm or new reality of this?
I don't think it's hard, because first and foremost it's free. People don't have to pay for it, which is a problem basically with legacy media like newspapers and radio. They're going to find it more and more difficult to compete in that level because of that. But I think that the future of potential in media has to be sophisticated adaptation to the new reality, which means reaching people where they want to reach on their own channels, on their own special apps or websites which are specifically catering to their own tastes. And that is something which a problem is going to be, that the costing it. How do you justify investing in a situation which is fluid and you have no real control over the outcome? The advertising is fragmented. These are basic issues for media which they have to face up to, and I don't know what the answer is yet. We've been quite successful in reaching now, this year we've averaged between 1.2 and 1.8 million reach through all of our web portal and social media channels combined. Our print run is only 5,000 copies, but it's still important, I think, to have a legacy media like an existing magazine. We're being true to ourselves.
But people are like pushing away from legacy media, especially with like what we see right now in America and Britain, and like people are like, because over there they've got like bias to one team to another.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to choose the right source of information. Like for us over here, it's like, luckily we don't have those divisions in our community and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So mostly our news is like straightforward. It's not about which team do we support and stuff like that.
You're right. I mean, there is an issue, and I think traditional media have got a problem with being able to basically monetize their existing platforms, because without money, you don't have a business opportunity. So this is the main issue that's facing us. But like us, I mean, we've taken the steps, and it's been a very painful step to turn our publication into a digital media opportunity. And anybody who doesn't do that is going to suffer in the long term.
All right, and we'll just go for a quick phone. Joining us through the phone is the Chief of Organization in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Hatem Abdelhamid Hatem. What can you tell us about the preparations that preceded hosting the current summit?
Good evening. Thank you. I mean, thank you for having me. I mean, I just want to say first, it's quite an honor to be with you here today, and it's quite an honor for the Kingdom of Bahrain as it welcomes Their Majesties and Highnesses, the leaders of the GCC, for the 46th GCC Summit. I mean, as you can see, and everyone can see, I mean, this gathering is quite a testament to our deep unity and shared vision for the future of our region. I mean, when it comes to the preparations, I mean, hosting the summit is a national priority, and the preparations have been quite comprehensive, as we all saw the past year or so, or even before that. I mean, been conducted under the royal directives with the full spirit of Team Bahrain. The 166th session of the GCC Ministerial Council, which was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Abdul Latif Rashid Zayani, the Foreign Minister, was successfully convened on November 30th, just a few days ago, as the official preparatory meeting. I mean, the session ensured that all agenda items were thoroughly reviewed and aligned before the Leaders' Summit. The prep meetings, or the preparatory meetings, not only focused on reviewing the implementation of the past decisions and past meetings, but they also went through discussing the reports from the technical committees, finalizing recommendations on the senior officials meeting on issues of importance, such as strategic, political, economic, and of course security files, which were presented today and discussed during the Leaders' Summit.
How do you value the constant efforts exerted by the Kingdom of Bahrain to support the joint Gulf and Arab action on various aspects?
I mean, there's a lot that was done. I mean, the constant effort, when you're talking about constant efforts, so the Kingdom of Bahrain's commitment, I mean, to joint action is a foundational principle of our foreign policy, which we rely on our daily work. I mean, and Bahrain has consistently demonstrated from the GCC's establishment to today's pursuit of full integration. This role expands beyond the membership to active initiative, which was exemplified by our recent presidency of the Arab Summit this past year, when we advanced crucial Arab causes and Arab issues internationally with hosting this GCC for 46 GCC Summit, being the latest chapter for this enduring commitment. On this note, I mean, of course, this is part of my daily responsibilities. Allow me to express our profound gratitude to our GCC brothers for their invaluable solidarity and support, which was very instrumental in our election to the UN Security Council in past June, when we received 99.5% support from the global community. This powerful mandate is a testament to our collective voice, and we pledge to leverage it to amplify the Gulf and Arab causes, which more importantly, we advocate for peaceful and just resolutions.
Bahraini diplomacy became a role model for war, peace, and moderation. What can you tell us about that?
I mean, there's a lot that we can say about Bahraini diplomacy, but this specific recognition stems from our leadership's vision of turning the principle of moderation into real, actionable global diplomacy. Bahrain, we have established global frameworks for tolerance, such as the King Hamad Global Center for Coexistence and Tolerance, and advanced UN General Assembly resolution adoptions, especially and mainly, and we adopted having the January 28th as the International Day of Peaceful Coexistence. I mean, our foreign policy is inseparable from our domestic policies, including a national human rights plan and commitment to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We believe that promoting human dignity, empowering women and youth, and achieving justice are essential pillars of lasting stability and moderation.
Thank you, Chief of Organizations at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Hatem Abdelhamid Hatem, for joining us. Welcome back. Our coverage of the 46th GCC Summit continues, and we have our guest here in the studio, publisher and chairman of Red House Marketing, Bahrain This Month and Women This Month magazines, Mr. George Middleton, to continue our discussion. Back with you, Mr. George, and we were talking about media, digitization and stuff like that. What can you tell me about the cooperation between the Kingdom of Bahrain and regional countries in the field of journalism and media?
Again, I think Bahrain has been the forerunner of journalism. It was the first country to start up an English language newspaper in the Gulf back in 1979. Gulf Daily News started exactly 2 weeks before Khaleej Times. So again, we were a pioneer and a pathfinder in that regard. I think Bahrain's media situation could be perceived as being even more liberal than any of its sister states around the area, and I think they could learn a lot about the integration of journalists who have their own version and interpretation of situations, by giving them the leeway to make an honest and straightforward dissemination of information in their own way. Bahrain's freedom of law, of press law, is unique, and I think the rest of the region would do well to follow Bahrain's example in that regard, under the wise tutelage and sponsorship of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, and of course the Crown Prince.
Can you tell us more about your experience with cooperating with other Gulf countries? Have you tried doing like a joint venture between your magazine or your company and
actually,
other?
The first magazine I actually set up was in Dubai, and it was the second monthly magazine in Dubai in 1981, and Bahrain, I set up the first monthly magazine in Bahrain in 1997. The circumstances and conditions were different insofar as in Bahrain I was given the opportunity to have my own publishing license in my own name, not in my sponsor's name. I was not a Bahraini citizen in those days, so I had to have a business sponsor, and it was a great privilege that was shown to me by the Ministry of Information under the government of Bahrain, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
And do you think you're going to expand Bahrain this month and go to like Saudi market now?
Well, we already have.
after-
We have an associate in Cape Town, South Africa, that has set up an online media called Cape Town this month.
Okay.
We are setting up a digital marketing subsidiary in London, in the UK, aimed at servicing organisations, SMEs in the UK that want to export to this part of the world, not only Bahrain, but Saudi, Kuwait, UAE, etc. We have ties up with logistics organisations as well, and a second-to-none digital marketing activity which actually works very closely with DR Muharrik at present as well, and handles most of their online campaigns and online proliferation arrangements.
And you were just saying that the support of His Majesty the King and the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. Can you tell us more about what kind of supports do you mean when you speak about the press here in Bahrain and the freedom of press? What kind of visions that you saw from His Majesty in implementing that in
Well,
Bahrain?
I know for a fact that His Majesty has ensured the survival of many, especially daily newspapers, Arabic and English, that otherwise would have been probably not able to survive the current scenario with COVID, and then following up with economic issues. The government support of ensuring that any new advertisements for employment have to be placed within newspapers is a huge advantage and support for the media industry, and we're very grateful to have had that support from His Majesty and the government of Bahrain.
Like the late Prime Minister of Bahrain, His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman, inaugurated the Bahrain Press Award every year, and
Yes.
now is continuing under the leadership of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and
Yes.
Prime Minister Prince Salman. How do you feel when you go to such a event like this, that the Kingdom of Bahrain is celebrating its media personnel, its journalists, its photographers, anything to do with media?
It's a sense of enormous pride to know that the efforts are acknowledged by the levels of leadership which don't really need to do that, but they make a point of supporting the efforts of the press and the media here in order to get international recognition for people here who are doing their job honestly and straightforwardly and efficiently. And we're very grateful to the government and the leadership of Bahrain for being able to provide that support.
What can you tell us about the Bahrain press role in sharing Bahrain's achievement on the local and international levels? I know we have a lot of local events, international things, like we have sporting, economic, political, the freedom of religion, the tolerance between communities in Bahrain. What's like the main role of the press to promote all of this internationally?
I mean, the press is there to amplify the good work and efforts which are being undertaken. There's an old saying that doing business without making a noise about it is like smiling at a girl in the dark. You know what you're doing, but they they have no inkling beyond understand. The good deeds and the good actions of professional journalists and news gatherers needs to be basically promoted, both locally, regionally, and internationally.
Did you ever imagine that since day one you were here in Bahrain, you'll be talking about, let's say, the visit of the Pope to Bahrain, hosting Formula One, hosting major events, hosting an air show and stuff like that in this small, tiny island that was empty?
Yeah, it's the best things come in small packages, they say, and certainly that's true about Bahrain. There is nobody I know here who's been here for more than 3 months who doesn't love this place and miss it when they leave. I've got people all over the world, groups in Canada or Australia, actually pining for Bahrain, for the gentleness of spirit of the people who are here. And I think if you compare an expatriate, for instance, a British expatriate, say, living in Dubai, and compared to a British expatriate living here, you'll find the one living here is much nicer and much less sort of challenged emotionally and mentally than the one living. And maybe it's the pace of Bahrain. People say, oh, it's very quiet. Isn't that a good thing?
Yes,
you can actually live a quality of life that is unavailable anywhere else.
I know. And finally, Mr. George, how would you value the constant efforts exerted by the Kingdom of Bahrain to further consolidate the values of peace, coexistence, and integrated dialogue on regional and global levels?
You see, people talk about certain presidents getting peace prizes, etc. I would like to nominate His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, his bravery and steadfastness in view of criticism from some people internationally, etc., saying he shouldn't do that. He is bringing peace to the world, and his efforts must be proudly lauded by not only by every Bahraini and every resident of Bahrain, but the whole world. He deserves that peace prize, in my opinion.
Publisher and chairman of Red House Marketing, Bahrain This Month and Women This Month, Mr. George Middleton, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Throughout the 44 years, GCC summits have evolved into practical platforms for redefining economic and technological priorities and translating them into executive programs that directly shape Gulf economies. The key issues such as energy sustainability, economic security, and the digital economy now stand as promising avenues for unified visions supported by precise follow-up mechanisms that guarantee the optimal use of emerging development opportunities. As the summit concludes, leaders leave with a renewed commitment to deeper integration and coordinated action across critical sectors. The agreements reached today signal not only strategic intent, but a shared determination to accelerate regional growth with new frameworks for cooperation in innovation and resilience. The GCC sets the stage for a more agile and future-ready economic bloc. The outcomes of these meetings are expected to guide policy, investment, and regional collaborations in the month ahead. And with that, we wrap up our live coverage of the summit. May well shape the Gulf's trajectory for years to come. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.